Hi, welcome to this week's Shir. Or is this a Verbringen? Is this a Verbringen?
No.
What is this?
Verbringen you need alcohol.
Tyre is like so diklos yain.
Wine.
This is my version of a Verbringen. We say this because you're privileged if you're watching this when it goes up on YouTube. For those present and right now, we have a monumental milestone right here. The Ger Torah has been going out for a long time, relatively speaking, about 5 years. And everybody that knows me, my style, what I'm trying to do, is just prove it more and more that it's legit, it's real, it's good, it's geschmack. When I say proof, just bringing sources of the Ger, better, more refined all the time. For contrast of what we're going to do today, I think one of the highlights of my journey with this was bringing out the Ger of Likutei Moran, Rebbe Nachman. I don't think I've ever met a Breslover teacher, right? Outside of Rebbe Nachman, in today's generation, lo and behold, look inside, Rebbe Nachman speaks about Ger b'koyach, Ger b'poil. A convert and a not so much convert, but a non-Jew, yada yada. So here we are with our little Verbringen. I know it's not really Verbringen, but I'm going to call it Verbringen because I'm not Lubavitch. But here's a little story, and then we're going to go into this. My good friend and work partner, Russell Kirk, and others, I'm getting ready to go to South Africa in the beginning of March. And we're going to be delivering a lot of material fresh down there. And then about a month later, we're going to Chicago. Chicago is going to be a highly Chabad working together event, which a lot of the students that I work with are in Chicago. It's Midwest. It's going to gather a lot of Gerim, as I call them, non-Jewish Gerim from all around. So it's exciting. And Russell says to me the other day, as much as I found Rabbi Nachman in Likutei Moran, I'm not visiting Breslov anytime soon, or the Ukraine, but or even Breslov communities. But it was a big deal to be able to say, Rabbi Nachman got Ger. Russell said, if you can find the Rebbe once and for all to show that he got Ger, how much greater would that make the Chicago trip? Agreed? So, I was skeptical. I didn't think it existed. I would have heard about it by now. And I was wrong. The story goes like this. A lot of things erupted over the weekend. Came out of Shabbos. And I was confronted with the Ramchal Derech Hashem about does the non-Jew get Olam Haba? That's already a class by itself, but we'll do that another time. And the research there led me a little wild goose chase. And it led me, I forget exactly how A led to B led to, but I have this hard disk, 50,000 books on Otzar Chachma. And there's an obscure sefer I found on there called Yemot HaMashiach B'Halacha, written by a Lubavitcher who seems to say there's a Ger Toshav at the end of days. And we looked him up on the internet, and it ends up being Rabbi Garlitsky of Crown Heights. I don't know who he is. I called a good friend of mine, Lubavitch in Sfas, and he got me the number within like 20 minutes. Called, spoke to him. He said, call me on Sunday. All right, I would have liked to have done it Erev Shabbos. I'm a bit, build Rome in a day kind of guy. And I didn't trust he was actually going to cooperate, because most people, they say, call me on Sunday, that means get lost. So I called Sunday, and I told him, my name is Rabbi David Katz, or actually just, David Katz for him. No need for pretentious introductions. And I saw he was Hamish right away, and he wanted to talk Ger, and he got Ger. We talked Ger about a half an hour. At the end of the conversation, he says, I agree with what you're saying, 100%. Ger and the world of Ger, all these things. And he was in the Rambam, and we were having a great time. At the end of the day, I said, great, okay, so there's one Lubavitcher on the planet that gets it. As I understand it, as it is to be understood. But can you write down for me like a haskama so I can send this around? He says, in the very Lubavitch, David, all you have to do is quote the Rebbe. Okay, so now I'm quoting the Rebbe. And I said, okay, where does the Rebbe say this? He says, here we go. Here's where the Farbrengen starts. Likutei Sichas, Chelik Lamed Aleph, page 126 to 127. And particularly, you want to focus on footnote 56. He says, you do that, and you say that the Rebbe said it, it's as good as gold. I'm saying, okay, let's check it out. So I went to my books, I found it. Now, back up 1 second. What did start this journey with Chabad? Because I took Russell's advice. I want to see. Maybe there was something on this. So I went to the Shulchan Aruch Harav. Everyone knows what that is. 50,000 books over there. Ger Toshev. And it turns out the Alter Rebbe says that the Ger Toshev is the Ger Toshev Akum. He's a non-Jew Ger Toshev. He is the guy, I always forget which pasuk and chapter it is in Mishpatim. You know the pasuk Vayinefash, rest your donkey, your dog, your friend, your cousin, your neighbor, and the Ger, right? Vayinefash, right? And everyone, if you look over there, Rashi says it's Ger Toshev. If you look at the Ten Commandments, Ger Shebasharecha, that's Ger Tzedek. I'm not getting into the pilpulim, which one, The bottom line is, when you look at the Ger Toshev, Rashi wants to say he's a good guy. He's like a Baal Tshuva non-Jew. He's great. He's for God, right? A strong Noahide. And everybody else says, what are you talking about? He's the guy who's installing your patio in Israel. And on Shabbos, he can't make you a cup of coffee. He's your worker, a hired worker. So the Alter Rebbe says, every time, maybe like 5, 6 quotes in the Shulchan Aruch Harav, Ger Toshev, Akum, this guy making your patio. But that's without in the time of Yovel. And everyone knows there's no Ger Toshev until the time of Yovel. Okay. So he says, if you want to get around this, then just call him Toshev. A Toshav is an Evid. This is an inconsistent view with the Chumash. Certain times Toshev is called an Evid in the Mashma'ut. So there's, again, this is where you come in here. There's Ger Toshev, there's Toshev. There's Ger Toshev status, there's Ger Toshev not status. That's the Chiddush. But he says, if you want to get an Evid who can be a Shabbos goy, so to speak, then just call him Toshev. It's not to loy b'yovel, and you get out of the problem. Okay, I'm happy now. Let's go home. So when it all came said and done, I guess I'll just introduce the wild hunt here. I started to realize, again, for the Ramchal was speaking about the Chassidim Amos Olam. Totally separate issue from what I was searching in the Alter Rebbe. I found the Alter Rebbe, that said goodbye, Shabbat Shalom. Coming out of Shabbos, Sunday morning, revving up the engines. I was saying, you know what? I've done a lot of searches. I never really searched out Chassidim Amos Olam. Everybody wants to know, where does the term come from, Chassidim Amos Olam? Okay, so we'll search for it. And I think there was 900 entries. I went through each and every one. All right, and they were all consistent. All of them. And then there's another term. And this is what you love. That's Tzadikei Amos Ha'olam. There's a Chassidim Amos Ha'olam and Tzadikei Amos Ha'olam. And they're not the same. We learned it from Noach and Yisro. Noach was the Tzaddik. Yisro was the Chosid. Okay, and you see, Noach was a Tzaddik because there's a Kasav. And Yisro did more than he had to do, therefore, he was a chassid. Okay, good. Now, with that said, we saw some chidushim with Chassidim Amos Olam. I'll give you a very basic definition. You know who the Tzaddikim Amos Olam are? The Americans say, hey, Americans, we are friends with Israel. If you meet Moshe and he comes here, you have to be nice to him. We love Israel. We wear pins that says, I love Israel. And they say, yes, we love Israel. That's a Tzadikei Amos Ha'olam. He's not righteous. He's just, he loves Jews because there's a reason to. The Chassidim Amos Ha'olam love Jews on a different reason. Right? He sees stabbings in Jerusalem on CNN, and he says, oh man, this breaks my heart. God, Hashem, you're the God of the Jewish people. Even though I'm in church, and I'm sorry about that, I'm a sinner to you, but I believe in your people, and why are you letting the Jews be killed by these Palestinians? So he loves Jews, this guy, right? You can see, he loves Jews. It's not logical. He's breaking logic. He loves Jews. This is the guy who would save people in the Holocaust. He went to church, prayed to Yeshu, but he saved 20,000 Jews. We know these guys. Sadiqi Yom So'ilam, Chasidi Yom So'ilam. Capish? Then, with that said, only because I was looking at the Chasidi Yom So'ilam did I find this Sefer, Yemot HaMashiach, or was it, whatever it was, Yemot HaMashiach Halach, whatever it was, and looked up, he said about the Ger Toshav over there, because we just found it by accident. Looked it up, called him up, he referred to us, the Sicha, he says, the Rebbe says, Ger. Now at that time, I had not connected back to the Alter Rebbe. That was a separate learning I did. I didn't think that would ever come back again. Here we go. Little did I know. Vehine, Ha'ivil la'ayel sif daled. Do I need to translate? Shodas Magid Mishnah. Gam Rambam. Svir lei koi rashba. The filu eno schiro. Now here's code. Ger code, ger code, ger code. How does the Alter Rebbe call a ger toishav akum goy? Schiro. A hired worker. I just got done telling you, he's fixing your patio. Why? Because with a Perushim, a Ger Toshav, who's a worker, how do they call him in the Chumash? In the Perushim of the Chumash? Schiroi. A hired worker. A Ger Toshav who is an Akum Goy, a code for him is he's your worker. Because he's not my friend. If he was my friend, he'd come over, we'll have Kiddush, we'll enjoy Shabbos. We're going to say this guy cannot do malacha for me on Shabbos. Not because he's my friend. Because I can't pay this guy to work for me on Shabbos and do malacha for me. He's a worker. You understand? Asr min atayde la asois malacha l'tzoyrich yisroel. See? You cannot pay this guy to do work for you on Shabbos. Hey, go make me a cup of coffee. No. It's Shabbos. I don't do that. He can make a cup of coffee for himself. He says, hey, Moshe, I love my cup of coffee. I just made it. You want some? No, you can't. Ha ha ha. Good, okay. Furthermore, this is different than the sheet of the Magid Mishnah from the Das Admor Hazaken. Correct? Amundo. Shelashita sois firle Rambam shenachri shaloki bil alav sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach einu b'chlal ha'isser. There's an isser of someone who can or cannot do malacha for you on Shabbos. Correct? Shaloki bil alav sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach einu b'chlal ha'isser. They want to say only somebody that kept the 7 laws. Can you say now you cannot do work for me on Shabbos? If you did not take on the 7 laws, you're mamish an idolater, okay? And whatever the scope of halacha is, we're not getting into the hilchas mir lagoy akshav. But let's assume you have a reason to do it. Now the idolater you can do. The rag mi shekabel alav sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach. His here a Torah al shvis hasover Shabbos Torah Yisrael. The contradiction is that the one sheet that says only someone took on the 7 laws. Can you say, don't do malacha for me? The goy mamish, he can. The lo kashitas Rashba, that's not like the Rashba. Rashba's something different. This shasfira lay the gam evid. Shaloki bel alav sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach. Also a slave or a servant that did not accept upon himself v'afilo even a azar. He's an idolater. He bows every day. Oh yo, right? Every day. Mitzvoyin alav. He cannot do malacha for you. Okay. Masha'ein kain admur azakin. The Rebbe, Alter Rebbe, Ksav desfira lei. He says it's like the Rambam. It's like the Rambam. The kiyum zayin mitzvahs, establishing 7 laws. Eino inyan isra malacha b'Shabbos. See what Alter Rebbe said? It has nothing to do with the 7 laws of Noach. He's an idolater. What do you get out? This is why if you learn Shulchan Aruch Harav, you're not getting anywhere. That Ger Toshav is going to get you nowhere. V'svira lei shagar l'Rambam ha sheschir lakito asher melachas Rabbo hu gam k'shlo kiba lazai mitzvahs. That even the Rambam, the worker, the hired worker, that he's doing, it's forbidden to do work for his Rav, gam k'shlo kiba lazai mitzvahs. No one said he took on 7 laws. No one said that. There's no issue in Noahide here. It's a separate issue whether he has Shabbos Goy. My opinion is you should not need a Shabbos Goy. It's not in halacha, but I mean it is under really certain conditions. Anyways, what we're saying is the Alter Rebbe's view is very narrow. Now this is the Lubavitcher Rebbe speaking here. We're not saying that he's wrong, right? Obviously, the Rebbe. We're not saying that the Rebbe the Alter Rebbe was wrong. We're saying he was speaking about an Indian, a very specific Indian. He never meant to be authoritative. He wasn't saying, hey, everybody, I write the Shulchan Aruch Harav here, I'm the Rav, and I'm going to write everything in the world that ever was about the Ger Toshav here. V'yesh levayir svaras blugas bein shitas admor zakin v'shitas amagid mishneh shetaloi b'sivas v'tam cholas toyer shvis shabbos al ha'evid v'ger Toshav atzmo. There's a difference between an Evid and somebody who took on Ger Toshav by themselves. I worship Hashem, I'm a non-Jew, and I love God and I want to keep mitzvahs. It's not the same as the guy who's an Evid. You conquered him. You went and conquered his country and said, come here, you're going to build my patio on Shabbos. Take the 7 laws. But that too is the sheet of the Rambam. Ger Toshav. Evid. What do you do? Kind of a problem, isn't it? 2 ways of understanding it. The first way of understanding it, Mitzad Shaychusim li Yisrael, I need you to build me a patio. It's about Israel. The Kevan Sha'evid Ki Noi L'Rabo, I bought you. I conquered Saudi Arabia, okay, and brought you back. V'chein Ger Toshav Kivu Shtachas Yadenu, you came to be a slave to Ger Toshav in Israel. Build my patio. Canal. Admor Zakin. L'chein Nimshachis Allah Torah Shvis Shabbos. B'no Ge'elam Malachas Rabbo. The issue is not the fact that he's building my patio. He wants paid, he wants a job, he wants parnassa. He went to Israel to build patios. So what is the slave mentality we're talking about? On Shabbos, he makes himself a cup of coffee. He cannot make me a cup of coffee. I'm not importing people to build my patio for them to make me a cup of coffee. Now, the word Evid is, it's a loose term, but we're not getting into that. There's such a thing as avdus, slavery in the Torah. You conquer a nation, they were idolatrous. You say, okay, charging you tax. Okay, you're now 7 laws. Come back to Israel. It'll be good for you. They say, okay, why not? I like the Dead Sea. You put him to work. He says he wants parnas. He wants to have food on his table. Okay, good, I need a patio. You want to work? It's normal. It just uses kind of draconian terminology. That's fine. The second Eitzah in the Rambam, Mitzad Shaychish Shelhem. Forget about conquering nations and things like that. This guy wants to do it for himself. He says, hey, I have a soul. I want God. I want wisdom. I want mitzvahs. I don't know about conquering schmonkering. I don't know. Ladine Yisrael v'toiras Yisrael. All I care about is Israel and the Torah of Israel. Ki gam kabbalah zayin mitzvahs b'nei noyah shel ger toshav shayechis l'toiras Yisrael. You can take on 7 laws to say, I don't want to do a transgression like a non-Jew. Or you can say, I don't want to kill as a Jew doesn't kill. You have that right. The Noahide has that right. You can say, I don't want to kill like a non-Jew wouldn't kill. Or you can say, I don't want to kill like a Jew wouldn't kill. Now, I'm going to make this up for context. Okay? Not true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I'm going to make it up. Again, making this up. A non-Jewish non-killing, right? I have to physically kill you to kill you. If I embarrass you, did I kill you? We're going to say no. The non-Jew, again, making this up. I really have not looked into this that deep, but we're making it up for now for good sake. A non-Jew embarrasses his friend. It's like death. He went white in the face. Did he kill him? No. Now, he says, you know what? Another guy. I want to do not killing like a Jew. Let's pretend that when you embarrass somebody, you physically kill them. Creases, or what do you call it? Mises Based right? So I became Ger Toshav, and I just embarrassed you. I said, look at you. They said, look what you just did. You made his face go white. We got to kill you now. Okay. I just committed a murder, right? The point is, he takes on what a Jew would be categorized by the transgression as opposed to the non-Jew. And there are several cases where it's a different law. Different law. Right? The Grease and the Rambam mentions those three of those different laws. Where it's one punishment for him. One example is where we might kill the Noahide for transgression. Right? The Ger Toshav, or the Jew, would not be killed. Maybe exile. So the Ger Toshav would get exiled, not be killed. There's an incentive, then be Ger. Right? Take on the Torah. Take on the mitzvahs. Okay. Dina Yisrael, Toiris Yisrael. Ki gam kabbalah zayin mitzvahs b'nei noyah shel Ger Toshav, shaychis l'Toiris Yisrael, kamosh uksav harambam. Now, we're going to speed through this. It's called Rambam, chapter 8, Hilchos Malachim, halachas 10 and 11. Siva Moshe Rabbeinu v'piyah gavoira. L'chov eskol boya oilam l'kabel mitzvah shnitztavu b'nei noyach v'kol mi shelo kabel yahareg u'makabel oisav hu nikra Ger Toshav v'kol makom tzarich l'kabel alav beis b'nei shalosh chaverim v'hu v'shekiva oisav v'yasa oisav ibnei shetziva behen achosh baruch hu b'toyra v'hodiyanu al yidei Moshe Rabbeinu avaim asa mibnei hikras das. I said, hey, it's logical to be a Noahide. Ein zu Ger Toshav Ein should sorry l'kabel alav zayin mitzvahs b'ibnei shlosh chaverim b'ibnei Yisrael u'b'ibnei shetziva behen achosh baruch hu b'toyra v'hodiyanu al yidei Moshe Rabbeinu the bekeva sheyesh lo yichus v'shaychus l'Toras Yisrael Shahari kibel alav hoiris Yisrael shaychus alav. All we just did was quote the Rambam. Look at the Rambam chapter 8 Hilchos Malachim halachas 10 and 11 where we talk about the Ger Toshav. Remember what the Rebbe is doing. He's saying that Rambam, that is not the Alter Rebbe's Rambam. That is not the Alter Rebbe's Ger Toshav. Alter Rebbe's Ger Toshav is an Akum, a Goy, a slave, a this, a that. The Rebbe's Ger Toshav is a different Rambam. It's the Rambam that you would have said it's some kind of cholent because you didn't understand the sugya. It is a Baal Tshuva non-Jew returning to love God. Notice that he did not choose his Surah Biyah 14, 7, and 8, which is connected to the Yovel. What did the Rebbe do? I'm going to bring up the Yovel at the end. It's brilliant. Here's footnote 56. I'm going to continue 1 second. Then we're going to go back and do 56. Yesh Makon. Laimer Sheyoim HaShabbos Itzlo. Eina Yoim Stam. He says Saturday's not Saturday. It's Shabbos. Why are you calling it Saturday? It's not Saturday to me. Sheyesh HaSivui. It's like he's commanded. Eliyesh Lo Chalus V'Sham Shel Shabbos to Yisrael. Meaning, Creases 9a, Ger Toshav Shabbat, the non-Jewish Shabbat. He's commanded to not serve other gods more so on that day. Day of God, not a day of Yeshu. V'hachi svirle l'magi mishnah shaladas Rambam shvisus ha'evid v'ger Toshav he lo rab yinei shaychus l'klasim mamon. This is actually something different. It's a different Indian. Stop the Rebbe here. This is where Rav Galinsky told me to stop also. Focusing on, as I said at the beginning, note 56. The Rebbe here just goes back about the Alter Rebbe Shita, about the different kinds of servitude and different inyanim of Shabbos, not nogayat to what we just brought down. You know how the Rebbe goes to Sichas. He goes and goes and goes and goes. End of Inyan. Full stop. Note 56. Look in the Taz. Yeridea, Simon Beis, So Sif Kat Nolf. To the Rambam Ger Toishev. And I looked this up. The Taz says, that the Rambam says, this is a big question for you. A Ger Toshev can do a kosher shchita, b'di'evid, and it's kosher. Why? Yaitzi michlal ha'amim. He is not of the nations. He's not a goy. Not a Jew, but he's not a goy. And then he brings down Avodah Zarah 64b. M'shemuchak the gerus. He calls ger toishev of Avodah Zarah 64b one of our linchpin sugyas in the sugya. Gerus. Becoming ger toshav is called gerus. Isn't that amazing? Being ger toshav is called gerus. Not the akum ger toshav. A kosher ger toshav is called gerus. Hu shekibel alav mitzvahs ger toshav. Listen to this. B'toiros Yisraeliyot v'nasa Yisraeli lemitzvahs eileh. Doesn't say yit yahed like the Even Ezra in 31:12 and Dvarim. It doesn't say Jew. It doesn't say convert. Sayin mitzvahs. Ger toishev hu mekabel alav mitzvahs ger toishev. That's the 7 mitzvahs. We paskin 7 mitzvahs on that sugya. The 7 he took on, but Toiros Yisraeliyos, V'nasa Yisraeliyos, the mitzvahs Eila. Meaning, this is what I've been calling the 4th house of Israel. He's taking on the laws as Israel. Right, then again, there's a Noahide Israelite, as opposed to a Noahide Goy. He wants to keep the 7 laws as taught through Israel. Shabbos is not Saturday. Shabbos is a day that I don't serve idols. He's not adding a mitzvah. There's no religion here added. There's no mitzvah added. He's saying, you know how I don't serve idols? That guy over there doesn't serve idols. He doesn't go to church. You know how I do it? I study Torah on Shabbos. Now I'm going to make coffee. I'm not going to make you coffee. I'm going to break every law in the world. But I'm going to learn Torah on Shabbos. That's Noahide Yisrael, not Noahide Yehudi. Israel and Jewish are different worlds. Different worlds. A Jew and Israel are something different. Israel is a throwback to Cohen Levi Israel Geir. Israel's Din Sinai. Jewish is Shmoltz and Heron. Jewish is your question, the 10th man for the minyan. He's not davening in your minyan. He's at home. And don't ask him to make you a cup of coffee. Footnote of the Rebbe. He's going to bring Krisus 9:8, the Ger Toshav Shabbos. And he says, he brings the Perushim there, when it says the Gerus shall Ger Toshav here in our Sicha. It's called Ksat Gerus and all the Perushim. Ksat Gerus. There's 2 ways to become a convert. You jump in and say, okay, right now, 613, mitzvah, dam, and korban, and whatever it is we do, right? There's another way of becoming a ger. You say, hi, where are you at? I'm just out of the church. Okay, good. Take these 7 laws. Okay, I like that. I can handle the 7 laws. Okay, I'm doing the 7 laws. So it's like 2-3 years now. Okay, what do you want to do? I kind of want to give tzedakah. I don't know. Okay, give tzedakah. You keep giving katzat, katzat, katzat. If at the end of his life he's done 613 and he wants to convert, that's how he converted. It's not that he didn't believe in the other mitzvahs until the end. Okay? If you ask any kosher Noahide today, do you kosher Noahide to believe Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that received the Torah from Sinai? Yes. None of them will say no. Do you believe that 613 mitzvahs are divine and ordained through, as a reality? Yeah. What are they going to say? Eating pig is not a mitzvah in the Torah? What are they going to say? Since this is not a mitzvah in the Torah? Yes, it's a mitzvah. Okay, and who does those mitzvahs? Jews. Why aren't you doing them? Kacha. I'm not in a position right now to where it sits. But you believe it's a divine mitzvah? Yes. It's a divine mitzvah. I'm not obligated to do it. I believe it's true. God willing, one day I'll get to some kind of situation. I'll do it. Again, the convert, who's also called Ger Gamor, complete Ger. He says, look, I'm jumping in that pool of water, and I want it all. I'm wearing tzitzis from the time I get out of there till the day I die. 2 kivunim of how to do tshuva as a convert. Convert proper, or la'at-lat. La'at-lat, la'at-lat. One is the ikr, one is normal, one is pshat. The other one's a bit alternative. Okay, it's the road less traveled. That's the Rebbe Sicha. Now, anybody that knows the Sugi of Ger knows that I just talked about everything ever written on Ger. You're talking about, look, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I happen to know pretty much a lot of things are written about Ger, agreed? A lot. And I can see in here, we got Ger B'Koyach, Ger B'Poyel, Rabbi Nachman. Ravid arguing on the Rambam, 100%. What did the Rebbe do? Rebbe said, look, everybody's getting tripped up on Isuri B'Yah 14:7-8 with Yovel. No one's claiming Ger Toishav status here. Stop it. No one's saying it. Stop it. The status is for the Alter Rebbe's Goy. Maybe even if it's the kosher Ger Toshav applies to the Yovel, but it doesn't mean he loses his identity. The Goy loses his identity. If he's not here and Ger Toshav Yovel from my porch, then he goes back to being Evid or Toishav. But the kosher Ger, without Yovel, he doesn't stop existing. Yovel gives him more rights. It enhances his state. I'm a Kohen. In the time of Gula, will I be enhanced? Yeah. Am I not a Kohen now? No. So just like, too, a non-Jew learns Torah like a Kohen Gadol. Why? There's actually one Ger that says a Ger is like a Kohen Gadol. Why? After the Gula, the Ger goes only up. But without the Yovel, he doesn't disappear. Chas v'chalila. So what does the Rebbe say? Then let's not trip on Yovel. It's an unnecessary trip. Even the Rambam agrees there's always a Ger Toishav. The Ravid proves that. The Grees and the Rambam proves that as well. So he said, the Rebbe says, look, this is beautiful, he says. The Alter Rebbe brought the Akum Ger, right? He already took care of Yovel. He said that world's Yovel. And he brought all the Rambams that explain that Yovel. So let me bring the Baal Tshuva Ger here, and bring in the Rambam here. Rambam chapter 8, Milchus Malachim, Halachas 10:11, never mentions Yovel, my friend. Not once. Not once. The Rebbe saw this works perfect tandem with the Alter Rebbe. It's a perfect piece. He brings in every piece of Torah that I can think of inside the Mochen of this. No one's left out. So we got Chasidi Amos Oilam. Or better yet, start the Tzadiki Amos Oilam. I'm in the church, I'm American, and go Israel. Right? He's coming out of Klippa. Chasidi Amos Oilam. Breaks my heart to see Jews dying. I just saved 20 Jews from some kind of Holocaust. I love Jews. Righteous of the nations. Chasidi Amos Oilam. The Rambam doesn't say Chasidi Amos Olam. He says Ma Chasidi Amos Olam. When you came from the Chasidi Amos Olam, you're now Ger Toishav. Hey, I love Jews so much, I think I actually want to be around these people. I'm going to start doing the 7 laws Ger Toshav. You came out from the Chasidi Amos Olam. You're starting to get the godly soul, Nefesh Elokis. You're leaving Klippa. You're entering Kedusha. You're shaykh to the Paraduma. Then you have the issue of Yovel, which the Rebbe talks about it. The Rebbe doesn't need to mention it. It's not shaykh. Now, I saw the Sefer that said in the days of Mashiach, Ger Toishav will become shaykh, and that's the time of Yovel. That's what the Rebbe says at the end of the Rambam, Hilchos Malachim. There's like a prophecy that at the end of days, the whole world will be Ger Toishav. So yeah, Yovel matters. in terms of the messianic vision. Now, do you need Yovel for that? No. In terms of one man can be messianic, i.e., he can be waiting for Mashiach. I'm taking the 7 laws, and one day the whole world will be like me. That's Yovel. I don't need Yovel for that. Yovel just means then when Israel can cater and minister and be priest to all the nations, light goes out. What's the naftamina? All the nations will be Ger Toishev. So yeah, there's a connection of Ger Toishev and Yovel, but it's not Ma'akiv. You just heard it said it's not Ma'akiv. Where do we see the source of Ger Toishev Goy, Ger Toishev non-Goy? I said 3 dargas of the Ritva, Ger Toishev Ben Noach and Goy. Where do we see Ger Toishev Goy, Ger Toishev Ben Noach, Ger Toishev? Makas 9a. You cannot learn that sugya clearly unless you understand there's more than one kind of Ger Toishev. If you're going to lock into one kind of Ger Toishev, then you have a problem learning the Sicha. Because that's what the Rebbe is saying. Don't think the Alter Rebbe was all there was saying on the Ger Toishev. It was not his function. And this is not a Chiddush. There's also 2 kinds of Ger Tzedek. Ger Tzedek non-Jew, Ger Tzedek Jew. There's also many kinds of Ger. What do you call a convert? Ger Gomor. What do you call a conversion? Ksat Geris or Ger Geris. The Ger Sugi is, there's usually, if not always, 2 mashmaut on any given word. Yovel Ma'akiv, Yovel not Ma'akiv. Ger Tzedek, Ger Tzedek. Ger. Taishev, Ger Taishev. Taishev. We mentioned the Shulchan Aruch Rav. We mentioned the Ger code, meaning that when the Shulchan Aruch Rav uses the word schiro, that's a code for Ger Toishev Goy. It comes from the commentaries on the Ger Toishev of the Shabbos who's doing your work. They call him schiro. So when you see it here, you see the Rebbe got in the Ger code. It's my term, Ger code, but when you know the world of Ger in the Lashon, there's a lingo. This is not the Rebbe's words. This is not his Chiddush. This is not his ideas. Right? He's using the lingo. That's how you know he knew the Sugya. When you see me quoting these things, I'm not making up my own words. Then they say, so there's your answer to the world there. Rabbi Katz, why don't you make up your own words rather than confusing people? Because when you learn Ger, I mention this. Why am I confusing you? Because when you learn Ger, you learn from the masters, you don't change the language. You teach Ger in its original Kalim and language. You don't change it. That's how you know it's authentic. That's how Rav Kook did it. It's how Rabbi Nachman did it. It's how the Rebbe did it. It's how the Alter Rebbe did it. It's how Chavetz Chaim did it. It's how the Gra did it. It's how the Briskers did it. It's how the Rambam did it. Ramban, Miri, Rush, Rif, Tosfos, Rashi. Who do you want? When someone starts making up words like Noahide, they made it up. They don't know the Sugya. Okay? How do you know when anything's kosher? If I'm watching a football game and the guy throws a really long pass and I say, well, he must have really put a great effort in lobbing the ball to the other player in the scoring venue. You don't know what football is. It's called, he stepped back and threw a long bomb and completed the pass for the touchdown. That means I know what football is. If you don't hear someone talking like that, they don't know what football is. They're not being romantic. Well, he tossed it nicely and gently into an open area where happened to be that it floated out of nowhere. No, he doesn't know football. Rabbi Nachman, I mentioned, just kind of the concepts are mashma here. Ger Koyach, Ger Koyach, Ger Bepoil. Ger Bepoil, Rabbi Nachman is one who makes it all the way over to convert. Ger Bekoyach is like we're saying the Ksat Geris. He's a Ger Bekoyach, Adkan, not going to go all the way. 2 kinds of Geris. Likutei. There's a Sisei Chachamim and Rashi. I think it's 2011 or 18, 17, where we call to the peace, call to the city we're going to conquer in peace. The Sisei Chachamim quotes Rashi, Lashon Likutei, which is usually to become a convert, people think, is language of becoming ger to 7 mitzvahs, but Farish, the Sisei Chachamim commentary. And we'll close on this note. The main thing that Zionism is built on this, Rav Kook is built on this. Rambam says you have to have Yovel, so they say, in terms of the Kavana. The Ravid says, don't be fooled by that. The Rebbe here, you can say on one hand, he didn't bring in the Yovel Sugya. On the other hand, there's a master key that unlocks all these doors. How did the state of Israel last year do the Ger Toshav? They poskined like the Ravid. They poskined like the Ravid. In Jewish history, modern history, where have you ever seen a Ger Toshav happen? Every time. And we're not talking the Goy Akam. They poskin like the Ravid. That's the answer. That's the key. The Ravid on the Rambam. It's right Bia 1478. What did the Lubavitcher Rebbe do here? He poskined like the Ravid. And with that, this was a spiritual Verbrengen. I hope you enjoyed it. The Lubavitcher Rebbe knew the Sugya, and it's not my opinion. It's a fact because he spoke the Lashon. A lot of times the Rebbe doesn't speak the Lashon. He has his own style. Yiddish, okay, not Lashon HaKodesh. But here, it was in Hebrew. It was in Hebrew, it's in the Lashon, the code. He quoted it. It's Masorah, the Rebbe, the Rambam, Magid Mishnah, the Rashba. They're all here. All Shitas are mashma here. No one's left out. No one. Love the Ger as the non-Jewish Ger. It's all mashma. I don't know about all the Rebbe's Torah. It's not my job to sit here and say the Rebbe was this or that, Lubavitcher this or that. But I am telling you, as a fan, personal fan of Ger, this piece, Likutei Sichas, the Rebbe knew exactly the Sugya of Ger. He taught it very clearly. It's all here. Paskin like the Ravid. So the answer is, did the Rebbe support this or that and the Noahide movement? Okay, the answer is here. Shkoyach. Thank you. Have a great day.